Hello, good afternoon, everyone. On behalf of FGCU, welcome to our virtual Transfer to the Nest event. We are so excited to have you all here with us. This event is going to be about an hour long so that you know what to expect. We're going to give you just a quick breakdown of what the hour will look like. We're going to be giving you that application waiver code at the very end of the hour. So if that is what you're here for, then stick with us for the hour and we will be sharing that at the very end. We'll post it up on the screen and we'll also share it on the chat. But we're going to start the event with a quick admissions presentation from yours truly. And from there, I'm going to show you how to use our transfer tool, which is how you can get an idea of how your credits will transfer. After that, we'll do a quick Q&A. So you may see a place where you can ask questions. Go ahead and start asking questions there as you have them, and we'll answer them as we're able to, and then we'll answer some that we feel apply to everyone at the very end of the admissions presentation. We'll take a quick break, and then we will come back to introduce Michelle Gonzalez, who has so generously offered to give a financial aid presentation. So she's going to be speaking specifically about the financial aid process for transfer students. So this will be really applicable. And then she'll take some questions afterwards as well. So definitely continue to ask questions as you think of them, and we will be answering those live. So to jump right into it, I'm going to go through some of the admissions information. As an institution at FGCU, we have over 60 different major options. So we have everything from engineering, education, business, arts and sciences, health and human services, and then a school of entrepreneurship. I always forget one. I know them all, but one always just slips my mind in the middle of listing them out. So we have over 60 different major options between all of those. Some of those majors are limited access. So what that means is you're not guaranteed admission into some majors just because you're admitted to FGCU. Those majors include music, professional golf management, clinical laboratory sciences, and nursing. So all of those majors have an additional application process that you need to complete and be admitted to before you can continue with those majors. For pretty much all of our other majors, if you are admitted and you meet the milestones for those majors, you're able to continue with those. Certain majors like health science, exercise science, health administration have additional milestone GPAs that you have to be tracking with, but you're able to take some time to try to catch up for those if you are a little bit behind. Those are usually either a 2.5 or a 2.9. So that's a little bit about our different major offerings. We do have 3 entirely distance learning majors. These are the majors that have courses at the upper level that can be completed entirely online. Those majors are criminal justice, legal studies, and health science. So you should be able to complete all of those entirely online at the upper level if you are needing a flexible schedule. Another program that's super unique for someone who is their top priority is flexibility towards their bachelor's degree. Maybe you're not super set on a specific major, but you really are just trying to get to that bachelor's degree so that you can get a promotion or so that you can set a really good example because you want your kid to go to college or whatever it may be. We hear all sorts of stories. You may be interested in the FGCU Complete program. So FGCU Complete offers the majors of Child and Youth Studies, Entrepreneurship, and Integrated Studies. So all 3 of those majors offer course times that are flexible around a full-time schedule. So that offers courses at nighttime or online. It offers classes in 8-week semesters, so kind of mini semesters instead of a full 16-week semester. So if you're juggling being a full-time stay-at-home mom, you need to take classes at nighttime, or if you are working full-time, you need to be able to have that flexibility. FGCU Complete might be a really great fit for you. So we do have curriculum maps for each of our majors that list out exactly the courses that are required for those degrees. If you were to go to the major you were interested in on our website, you would see there's a curriculum map link and you could see all of the courses, including any prerequisites that are included in that. So I definitely would recommend taking a look at the curriculum map for that major that you're interested in. That's a little bit about what we have to offer. If there's something I didn't touch on or you have additional questions, just write it in the chat and we'll be sure to answer back to you. Now to jump into a little bit about the different requirements for our incoming transfer students. So You are considered a transfer student once you complete 12 credit hours after graduating from high school. So if you've done all of your credit hours in high school or less than 12 after graduating from high school, you're actually still considered a freshman. Even if you complete your entire AA degree in high school, you are considered a first-time in college student. It doesn't mean that your credits won't transfer over. It's just for purposes of your application. So how we're going to evaluate your application. If you have completed between 12 and 29 credit hours after graduating high school, we're still going to be evaluating your high school transcript and your SAT or ACT test scores, as well as your college transcript. So we're still, since you're still in your first year technically with that credit hours, we would still be evaluating what we would evaluate for a first-time in college student in addition to your college GPA. If you are planning on transferring with at least 30 to 59 credit hours, we are now only evaluating your college transcript for at least a 2.5 GPA and that you've completed at least one college English class and one college math class with a grade of C or higher. And these are the credit hours that you expect to have by your first semester. So if they're still in progress right now, but you think you'll graduate with those credit hours, you would count the credit hours you would have by the time you would be attending. We will also always need your high school transcripts in addition to college transcripts, but after 30 credit hours, we're only evaluating those college transcripts. If you are transferring with an AA degree or at least 60 credit hours, we are only evaluating your college transcripts for at least a 2.0 GPA and that you've completed at least 2 college English and 2 college math classes with a grade of C or higher. So we will always still need your high school transcripts and your college transcripts, but we only need test scores if you are transferring with less than 30 credit hours by the time you would be beginning with us. So I know we get that question a lot. It gets really confusing. So that would determine the criteria that we would be looking for. We also do have a Florida foreign language requirement. So if you did 2 consecutive years of high school foreign language in your high school, that can count towards your foreign language requirement. If you took Spanish 1, Spanish 2, German 1, German 2, French 1, French 2 in high school, or if you did that in college, that can count towards your foreign language requirement. If you've not completed the foreign language requirement before beginning at FGCU, you may be admitted on the exception that you must complete that by the time you would be graduating with your bachelor's degree from FGCU. And American Sign Language does count as one of our foreign language. So that's a little bit about transfer criteria. Now, one of the most popular topics for transfer students is how your credits will transfer. This is something that is the most important for most transfer students because you've worked so hard to earn all of these credits and you are going to make sure that they're going to count towards your degree. So we evaluate your transcripts and how your credits transfer officially when you're applying. So you'll submit your application and get us your official transcripts, and we will load your courses and the FGCU equivalent onto your new FGCU record so that once you're admitted, you'll be able to see exactly where you stand with your degree and what is left for you to complete your bachelor's degree. But just to give you a general idea, a little bit of an overview, any credits earned from regionally accredited institutions usually are transferable. So as long as you went to a state college or a public college, state university, private university, anything that's regionally accredited should be transferable as long as it's not a technical or career college. And if you are attending within the state of Florida, usually they have similar course codes. So if it's the same first 3 letters and last 3 numbers, those are most often the same exact course. So if we need you to take biology, our biology is BSc 1010 with a lab, and you took BSc 2010 with a lab, that should be the same course. Per Florida's 2+2 program, if you are attending a public institution inside the state of Florida and you complete your AA degree from a public institution, you automatically meet your general education requirements for your bachelor's degree. So what that means is you're going to get all of your English, math, humanities, social science, natural science, all those classes completed so that when you begin with us, you're only having to take those classes for your major. So this just gives you a head start. It makes sure that you're taking classes that are going to count for your degree if you are pursuing an AA at a public institution within the state of Florida. If you're working towards an AS degree, a lot of the time the purpose of the AS degree is to get you working more quickly. So it's not designed for a super smooth transfer process towards your bachelor's degree. Any of your gen eds should still count the same way. So if you took English as an AS degree student, if you took math as an AS degree student, those should all transfer the same way. But you end up taking some classes that are specific towards the major that's listed on your AS degree that either isn't required for your bachelor's degree or is taken at a lower level than we would like for you to take it for your bachelor's degree. So those courses might be able to transfer in as electives or something like that, but a lot of the time they're not always super exact to the courses that we need for your bachelor's degree. And we'll evaluate how those credits transfer during the application process. Also, as I mentioned on that curriculum map, there may be some prerequisites for your major. So for instance, if you're interested in one of our business programs, you would want to take microeconomics, macroeconomics, financial accounting, managerial accounting, statistics. All of those are prereqs that if you can fit them into your AA degree, either as electives or for some humanities, social science, it's a really great idea to try to fit those in so that you're right on track to pick up with year 3 once you begin with us. For most of our programs, if you haven't completed all of the prerequisites before transferring, you can complete them once you transfer with us. So it's not going to hold you back from transferring, but it just keeps you on track better to make the most of the courses that you are taking during your AA degree. So that's a lot of information about credits transferring. Keep asking questions. You guys are asking a lot of really great questions, and we will answer them and address some at the very end of this. So the next hot topic is about scholarships, because we all love free money. It's awesome. And a lot of the time students qualify for admission scholarships that they didn't even know that they qualified for. So we have 2 specific transfer admission scholarships. One's for in-state students, one is for out-of-state students. So if you are an in-state student, the scholarship as a Florida resident for tuition purposes, and you're attending a public Florida institution like one of our state colleges or Florida universities, you would be looking to graduate with at least a 3.0 GPA, a 3.5 GPA, and your AA degree. And if you meet those requirements, then you will automatically get our Eagle Transfer Gold Scholarship. So I messed up that GPA a little bit, so I want to reiterate. It's a 3.5 GPA with your AA degree, and you will get our Eagle Transfer Gold Scholarship. This scholarship covers $3,000 a year, so that's about half of our tuition, which is a really good amount just to be gifted for your 3.5 and your AA degree. You will have that scholarship added to your account. It's $1,500 in the fall and $1,500 in the spring. So that is our in-state scholarship. Once again, all you have to do to be considered for that scholarship is submit an application to transfer. And once we get your transcripts with the AA degree posted and that 3.5 or above, you will be gifted that scholarship. Our out-of-state scholarship is called our out-of-state fee waiver. This scholarship is for our out-of-state students who are transferring with at least a 3.4 college GPA. Unlike our in-state scholarship, this one is competitive and it does require an additional application. So after you apply to transfer to FGCU, you will need to submit your application for the out-of-state waiver. If you have a 3.4 GPA, you will be considered, and this will take into consideration your GPA, but also there are some essay questions that you would need to provide responses to be considered. And after the deadline, students are able to be gifted that scholarship. It is competitive, so we don't have them for everybody that applies, but if you meet the requirement, you might as well apply, put your name in the hat, and see what happens. Am I right? This scholarship, if you are granted that scholarship, it will waive the out-of-state portion of tuition for at least 9 credit hours, essentially allowing you to pay in-state tuition. So it does pretty much waive the out-of-state portion of tuition, which is pretty significant. Our out-of-state tuition is about $838 per credit hour. Our in-state's about $203 per credit hour. So when you're looking at a full year of 30 credit hours, in-state's about $6,000, out-of-state's about $25,000. So that definitely makes a difference. And these scholarships can be stacked with anything from FAFSA, with financial aid. Michelle will definitely go into detail about that a lot better than I could. but they can all stack together like a stack of pancakes. That's how she words it. So that's a little bit about our transfer scholarships. Next, we're going to jump into our application process and admission. So what are the next steps when you're ready to apply, and when do you apply? I usually recommend beginning the application process once your final semester of classes begin before transferring. So if you're wanting to transfer for next fall, I usually recommend beginning the application late January, early February. You could apply now if you'd like to, but I'd probably wait until you're registered for your final semester of classes before sending your transcripts, just so you don't have to send them all out of time. But I usually recommend for fall applying late January or early February. If you are wanting to apply to transfer for the spring semester, we are still accepting applications. So you can go ahead and start the application process, I would say, sooner rather than later, but we do have a rolling style of admission for our transfer applicants. So you are still able to apply to transfer for the spring 2021 semester. You can find the application on our website, fgcu.edu. You click apply at the top, and then it says already know what you need to do, get started on your application. When you click there, it will prompt you to create an application as an undergraduate student, and then you'll go through that application process from there. Besides your application, you will need to make sure to have your official high school transcripts and all of your college transcripts requested to complete your application, and your SAT or ACT test scores if you're transferring with less than 30 credit hours. So it does take a couple of days for us to connect everything from when you request transcripts and everything. That can take up to a week, sometimes a little bit longer. So I definitely would recommend keeping an eye on your status page to see when we've gotten all of your materials. And usually once we've received all of your materials, it's about less than 2 weeks before you hear back from us with a decision. We're just going to say, you know, you're all admitted, congratulations, that's our goal. And from there, you'll receive a next steps email. So the first thing that you would need to do is activate your Eagle email. Usually that comes as a PIN number, or they'll send an email with instructions on how to activate your email. From there, you'll get access to your Golfline account. So Golfline is your student profile, basically, during your time as a student at FGCU. It's where you go to pay tuition. Basically, everything's going to be done through your Golfline account except for your actual courses. So in order to confirm your enrollment, if you would like to enroll, you'll first need to pay an admission deposit. This admission deposit is basically paying $200 of tuition in advance. So it lets us know that you're planning on attending, so we can get an accurate head count of our incoming students. And when you go to pay your first semester of tuition, you'll see the $200 is subtracted from that. So it is a deposit towards your first semester of tuition. After you pay your admission deposit, you get an email from orientation with a link to register. So you will be required to attend orientation as a new student, and you'll register for classes with an advisor at the end of your orientation session. So I know a lot of students are confused on when they'll register for classes. You register at the end of orientation with your advisor. Those sessions for spring are beginning on November 20th, and they're going through December 18th. So we do still have time. I just want to reiterate, if you are interested in getting started with us for the spring, we still have plenty of time to get you settled, and we do our best to offer as much support in the transfer process as possible. So if you have questions about that, reach out to us and we will walk you through each step of the process until you are beginning your very first class. So that's a little bit about the application and admission process. I'm now going to take you through our transfer tool. So I'm going to show you how to enter your classes into our transfer tool, which you are not required to use, but it is available for your convenience if you wanted to get an idea of how your credits will transfer over. So if you were to go to our fgcu.edu website and you go ahead and you click apply at the top of the page here, you scroll down just a little bit and you click undergraduate admissions on the left hand side. When you click that and you scroll down, you're going to go ahead and click this second top box, I'm interested in transferring or earning a second bachelor's degree. And when you click that, you will see all of our transfer information with a wonderfully familiar face, yours truly, and you can go ahead and click on the transfer tool. So this transfer tool, you can continue without signing in. I'm going to go ahead and do that, but if you wanted it to remember your information, you can click create an account and it will remember all of the information that you've entered. I would recommend doing that if you are wanting to come back to it. So I'm just going to enter this information for an example. I'm going to say I'm interested in enrolling in the spring of 2021. I'm interested in being a history major. I'm going to be an undergraduate student. So if you're pursuing a bachelor's degree, you're an undergraduate student. I will pursue a bachelor's of arts degree, and my major is history. And my final question is I do not have an intended concentration. From here, I'm going to go ahead and click enter classes, and you enter the institution that you're transferring the credits from. So I'm transferring from Florida Southwestern State College. You'll see it populates as you type it. When I go ahead and click Florida Southwestern, I'm just going to give an example of a class I took there. We'll say I took English composition. Composition, English composition 1, ENC 1101, that's the class I took. So when I go ahead and click on that, I'll enter in some more information about it. So I just took this class in the spring of 2020. I got 3 credit hours for it, and my grade was a B. It was a semester class, and I'm going to add another class from FSW. So I'm going to check this box and click proceed, which will hold on to the school and allow me just to go type in the class here. My next class that I took was college algebra, so I'm just going to start typing that, and you'll see it pops up down here. I took Mac 1105. You might have to type it a few different ways depending on how it's entered into the system, so it's a little bit of trial and error, but I took this class in the summer of 2020. It was 3 credit hours. I got a A-, and I'm just going to add those 2 classes for now. When I click proceed, you'll see it'll give you these options again. If you wanted to enter classes from another school, another institution, if you clicked enter classes, it would take you to find the institution and then the credits again. But I'm going to click see equivalencies. I confirm that this is unofficial. And then you'll see all the information that I entered at the top here. And you'll see I have 5% of my degree completed. As I scroll down, you'll see 2 of my general education requirements are met by those 2 classes that I've entered. You'll see that there still is 1 math class remaining, a statistics class. So if I took that and entered it, it would have been checked off. If I finished my 2nd English class, this line would have been checked off. And then it gets into more of your major classes. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, it will show you the class that you entered at FSW, and it will show you how it transfers to FGCU, so our equivalent. If you are entering your class and you're seeing something that says taken with too few or taken with too many units, or it's not showing an equivalent to FGCU, it doesn't mean that it's not going to transfer. It may just be that we have to update how it was entered into our system, or we need to see what our equivalent was if we've not evaluated it before. So I want to make sure that if you see that it's not entering exactly like you expected, that you're not concerned, because we will evaluate official transcripts once we have your official transcripts with your application. So that is a little bit about our transfer tool. We're going to come back for a few questions. I see quite a few questions. So the first question is, if I'm still enrolled in courses, but I plan on transferring for the spring semester, should I wait until I finish my classes to send my transcripts? So the answer for that is no. You do not want to wait to send your transcripts. As soon as you have those transcripts listed as in progress on your, those courses listed as in progress on your transcripts, go ahead and get those sent over to us. As long as we can see what you expect to have by the time that you're beginning with us, we usually can see enough to go ahead and make a decision. It looks like service learning requirement. Do you have a service learning requirement? So we do have a service learning requirement as an institution. If you're coming in with your AA degree and at least 60 credit hours, you will be required to complete at least 40 service learning hours. These are built into your courses that you take a lot of the time. So there are additional volunteer experiences, and we have a service learning office that can get you connected with the different service learning opportunities. But we do have the service learning requirement for graduation. Since our institution is very service focused and focused on sustainability, that is a requirement. So we do have a service learning requirement. How do I know how many credits I have left to finish my degree? So once you are applied, send your official transcripts, and you're admitted, Like I said, we'll review all of your credits. We'll put them on your FGCU record. Once you're admitted, you'll be able to see what's called your degree works. And your degree works shows you exactly how your credits transferred in and exactly what is left for your degree at FGCU. I unfortunately don't have access to see that myself, but your advisor will work through that degree works with you. And since they're going to be helping you register for classes for your first semester, they will be able to help you with that at that time. So that's about it for our live admissions presentation. You can continue to ask questions as you have them. We're going to take a really quick break, and we're going to come back with Michelle Gonzalez, who's going to give us our financial aid presentation. So don't go anywhere. All right, so just a quick little break there, just to give you a second to stretch if you needed to stretch, or whatever you would like to do during your break time. It's up to you. I don't judge. But now we're going to be coming with Michelle Gonzalez, who is our financial aid extraordinaire, expertise, whatever you want to call her. She's really, really smart. And she's going to be giving us a presentation strictly for financial aid. So I am going to send her on over.
Well, hello. Welcome to our Transfer to the Nest event. I'm excited to be with you today. Like Katie mentioned, we're going to talk about the financial aid and scholarships process here at FGCU. We want to make sure that you're all going to a different school right now when you're looking to transfer. You know the process for the school that you're at. We want to make sure that you understand our process so that you can get the best aid package possible. So we're going to tell you a little bit about our office today. We're going to go over the cost of attendance. I'm going to give you 3 easy steps to maximize your financial aid, give you some social media, and take some questions. So if there's something along the way that I don't cover that you'd like to know, go ahead and send it on in the chat. And if I don't get to it after the end, I will stay around to answer any questions you have. So I just want to let you know that we're here to help. Our office is open. We are located in the Enrollment Services Center in McTarnigan Hall. We are open. We are taking walk-in advising every day from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. You never need an appointment to come see financial aid. So if you're in the area, come on by. If not, you can reach us by phone at 239-590-7920, or you can use the Contact Us link on our website to email our office. So we're here to help you. So if you need assistance with filling out the FAFSA, if you need help reviewing your aid, we're here. So if you want to come on by, we'll be happy to help you with that. So let's just go over the cost of attendance here at FGCU. Just keep in mind there are 2 different types of costs. The first are direct costs, which is the ones that we're going to focus on today. And those are the actual charges that will appear on your student bill. So all students who take classes are going to receive tuition and fees, and then room and board if you live on campus. But you also have expenses that we take into account if you're living off campus or with your parents, books and supplies, transportation, whether you're a commuter student or a student who's living on campus and needs to go home at the breaks or at the end of or start of the term, and any personal expenses that you have. So we're going to take all that into account. But today we're going to focus on the cost of attendance, are those charges that you're actually going to be billed, because those other expenses can vary and they're not actual expenses that you're going to receive. So if you're a commuter student, so you're a student that's living at home and commuting to the campus, or you're living off campus, the only charges you're going to see on your student bill are tuition and fees. We always base this on 30 credit hours, and the reason for that is we're committed to helping students graduate in 4 years. So in order to do that, you need to average 30 credit hours a year to hit that 120 credits needed for your degree. Okay, so if you're taking more or less credits, you would address that cost of attendance. You know, here at FGCU, we haven't raised our tuition and fees in 7 years. So you are getting a very affordable education, but you're also getting an incredible value. You're getting an exceptional education as well. So if you're an out-of-state student, if you're joining us today, you also would have the out-of-state tuition differential, which will be about $19,000 more for the out-of-state tuition. So if you're a student and you're living on campus, we have several options for our students who are living on campus. It's apartment style housing. You have the choice between Northlake and Westlake, and the fees do vary. Westlake is a 12-month lease and Northlake is a 9-month lease. So you're looking around $12,000 to $12,600 for that. Meal plans are not required whether you live on campus, so we do not include that in there. It's optional. Most students who live on campus in our apartment style, because there are kitchens, will not purchase a meal plan. So let's go over the steps that you need to do to make sure that you get the best financial aid package. The first is add FGCU to your FAFSA. So if you're a student who's looking to transfer for the spring or the summer, you need to add FGCU to your 2021 FAFSA because the spring and the summer terms are covered under that FAFSA. If you are a student who's coming in the fall of 2021, you want to make sure that you're completing that FAFSA as soon as possible. Here at FGCU, we have a priority filing date of January 1st. So students who file their FAFSA between October 1st and January 1st are going to get the most aid options. So if you're coming in either the spring or the summer, you're going to add us to your 2021. And all students should be completing the 21-22 FAFSA as soon as possible because that'll be for our fall term coming up. So in order to add FGCU, you're just going to log into your FAFSA using that FSA username and password, and you're going to make a FAFSA correction. And you're going to navigate to the tab that says the school selection. And you're just going to enter our school code. It's 032553. You can also search by name. So this is kind of what it looks like when you get in there. So you're going to go right to that second tab, which is the school selection tab. Go ahead and add our school code. This will allow us to receive that information. If you don't add us, we can't receive it, okay? Now, you may have been selected for a process called verification. So once we get that FAFSA, we're going to get that information and we're going to add any requirements that you had. Now, your other school may have requested these documents from you as well. It could have been citizenship. It could have been proof of selective service. It could have been, the verification tax documents. Unfortunately, we cannot accept the changes or corrections or acceptance of documents from another school. You need to turn them into us as well. So if we're requiring any of those documents, we're going to assign them as requirements in your Golfline student portal and notify you via email that you have some missing information that we need. Until all of those documents are received and reviewed, we cannot package you for aid, okay? So it's really important that if you're getting that request for documentation that you turn it in as quickly as possible. So once we get that and we're ready to package you, we're going to package you for everything that you qualify for. You don't need to separately apply. We're going to award you any federal and state and FGCU grants that you qualify for. We're also going to award you with your loan eligibility. So if you're transferring in the middle of the year, we're going to look and see what age you've used at your prior institution that you have left over to use here. Okay, we do not package students with work study. If you're interested in work study, it would be a separate application that you would complete at fgcu.edu/workstudy. Okay, and you would just put in your name and your university ID number, and that would go to our work study coordinator who would determine your eligibility for the program. We do not assign students a work site. You'll be given the opportunity to apply with offices or locations that have an opening. The second is if you are a student and you are receiving Florida Bright Futures, you also need to transfer that to FGCU. So that's just going back to your Florida Student Aid application online, logging in and making that update, or they give you the option to call them. So you can call them on the phone and make that update as well. And you just want to make sure that you add us. Now, if you are coming in for the spring or the summer and you've already attended an institution in the fall, you're not going to update the fall term to FGC. You're going to leave it as your prior institution. So what do I What do I mean by that? So when you're in the OSFA site, you're going to go in here and you're going to make that update, okay? It's going to show you here, term 1 is the fall term. So if you are at another college in the fall, you're going to leave term 1 alone. If you're coming in for term 2, which is the spring, or term 6, which is the summer, you're going to go ahead and check that box. So you just want to make sure you're checking the right ones, and you're going to do it for each aid year. So right now the 2021 is out there, and then 21-22. So it allows you to make that update. You can, like I said, you can also do it on the phone as well. So whichever one is easier for you. So we're all, here at FGCU, Florida Bright Futures. If you have that academic scholarship, congratulations to you. That's going to cover 100% of your tuition and give you a $600 yearly book stipend, $300 in the fall, $300 in the spring. If you have the medallion scholarship, that covers 75% of your tuition. So as long as you have our school code on there, we'll automatically get that on a roster from the state and we'll be able to make that award for you. We will also consider you based on the information on your FAFSA for the Florida Student Assistance Grant. So that is a need-based grant program through the state and we'll automatically consider you for that as well. Step number 3 is to make sure that you apply for scholarships. So Katie did a fantastic job about talking about the Admissions Merit Scholarship. And I always like Katie said, to talk about pancakes, because these are stackable. So you can get aid from the federal government, the state government, the admissions office, outside scholarships, and our internal scholarships. So these scholarships that I'm referring to here are separate from those admissions merit scholarships. This is our private foundation, and we've awarded over $4 million last year. They are merit and need-based awards, so they're going to be looking at, your GPA from your transfer school, or your financial need is coming from your FAFSA. Our foundation looks at need differently than the FAFSA does, so keep that in mind. So even though you may not qualify for gift or grant aid from the federal or state government, you still may have financial need. This is why we encourage all students to do the FAFSA every year and fill out our foundation scholarship application. Our application is currently open. It is open for scholarships for the fall of 2021, okay? We encourage you to fill it out by January 1st. So that is our priority deadline. So what does a priority deadline mean? You heard me mention that for the FAFSA and for the foundation application. It means that students who apply between October 1st and January 1st have the best chance of being selected to receive those federal, state, and institutional grants and scholarships than students who apply after that deadline. So you really want to do that as soon as possible. You do not need to wait till you're accepted to complete our foundation scholarship application. Let me just repeat that. You do not need to wait till you're accepted. As soon as you apply, you're going to receive a university ID number. That ID number is all you need to have to unlock that scholarship application. And obviously we can't award you a scholarship until you've been accepted, but you can have your application in for consideration. So as soon as you apply and you have your number, go ahead and complete that application. This one application will consider you for hundreds of scholarships. Okay, so you don't need to individually apply and select the scholarships. We will match you to the scholarships that you qualify for based on the information that you put on that application. Then you want to continue to apply for outside scholarships. Our students receive thousands of scholarships. We processed over $2 million in outside scholarships last year. Always start with community foundations. Community foundations are local organizations that are only available to students in that small geographic region. So these are just a few of the scholarships organizations that are right around FGCU. To find a foundation nearest you, if you're not in the immediate area, you can go to fgcu.edu/scholarships and scroll down to the bottom where you'll see community foundations. There's a link to a map there of the United States, and you can click on the community foundation nearest you. So these are some, great opportunities to find those local scholarships, and then just continue to apply for national outside scholarships. Scholarships are not something you just apply for in your senior year of high school. This is something you're going to do throughout your educational time. You're going to do this at the undergrad level, the graduate level, graduate or professional level. There are scholarships for students in all levels, and they're not just for your honor students or not just for your athletes. There are scholarships for literally everyone, but you have to invest the time. you're not going to receive every scholarship that you apply for, so you want to make sure that you're applying for as many as possible. Don't skip the ones that are small dollars. You know, everybody applies for that big $10,000 scholarship, so you're going to be competing with a larger pool. You know, those smaller scholarships are going to have less applicants, so a greater chance for you to receive them. So just give you some of our highlights. As I mentioned, we haven't increased our tuition fees in 7 years. We're really committed to keeping the cost of an education here in Southwest Florida affordable. You know, we award $21 million in Pell Grants. 91% of our Pell Grant eligible students from the state of Florida do not pay any out-of-pocket costs for tuition. So if you're, you know, a Pell eligible student and you're meeting that January 1st deadline, we're going to come alongside you with, you know, those FGCU grants, federal and state grants, to make sure that you're not paying any of that tuition. You know, our students are bright and they're talented and they're receiving that bright futures. You know, we're awarding $115 million in financial aid and scholarships every year. So there's a lot of money here that we're, you know, processing. But something we're extremely, extremely proud of is keeping our students' loan debt down. 52%, over half of our students graduate with zero loan debt, and this is something we're extremely proud of. You know, we're really committed to making it an education affordable and helping students, you know, graduate without that burden of that loan debt. So what are your next steps? First, apply for admissions to FGCU. Get that application in, get your university ID number, update your FAFSA and your Florida scholarship applications, check your email and Gulfline frequently. So if we need additional documentation from you, that's how we're going to notify you. Submit that foundation scholarship application. Make sure you get that in. Remember, you don't need to wait till you're accepted to get that in. And then if you need help, if you have a situation, call or email us for assistance. If your family is experiencing a significant loss of income due to COVID-19, if your family's dynamics have changed, maybe due to death or divorce, contact our office. You know, we can talk about a change in circumstances. We are here to help you. We want to make sure that, you know, your needs are met and that, you know, if you have any unusual circumstances, that we explore all options. You know, we also want to encourage you to follow us on social media. We post a lot of great information out there. You'll never miss a deadline. You'll never miss an application. We also have Work Study Wednesdays. So if you're looking for a work study job, we're going to highlight places that are hiring on campus. We're also going to post scholarship opportunities. So anytime we become aware of a scholarship, we're going to put it up on social media. So it's a great place for you to get that information and to stay connected and informed. You can also DM us and send us your questions that way. We're going to meet you where you're at. We're an extremely accessible office, so we're glad you're there. So let's just go ahead and take some questions. So one of the questions that came in was, I'm looking to you know, apply for the summer. What should I do now? So like I said, if you're coming in the summer, make sure you update that application for the 2021 year and also do your FAFSA for fall, which is the 21-22. So you want to get ready for the term in which you're coming and get ready for the next aid year. Okay, so one of the questions is, I have loans at my other school. What do I need to do to receive loans here? Fantastic question. So if you've taken out loans at your prior institution, you have done entrance counseling and a master promissory note. You will need to redo your master promissory note with FGCU. So you'll be assigned that requirement if you accept your loans in your Gulfline student portal. So we'll make that all very transparent for you. We're going to help you, guide you through the process. We're going to, you know, assign those items that you need. But like I mentioned, if you have any questions, every student is assigned a financial aid advisor. Contact us. We will work with you. We want to help you through the process. We want to make sure that you understand the FGCU process of how we do things. Okay, so once your award package is ready, you're going to receive an email letting you know to log into your Gulfline student portal to view and accept that. All students do need to accept the terms and conditions before any of their aid, including scholarships, can pay. So you want to make sure that you do that. So you want to log in, view your financial aid package, accept those terms and conditions. I also just had a question here about books. Do we have an advanced book purchase? We have something a little bit different here. So if all of your financial aid exceeds the cost of your billed charges and you have what we call excess financial aid, you have financial aid left over, you can go to the bookstore and you can charge books against that financial aid. So it'll be a charge added to your student account. That opens usually about 2 weeks prior to the start of the term and through the first week of classes. So the end of the first week of classes, if you have excess financial aid, so all of the charges on your account are paid and there's money left over, you can use that in the bookstore. All right, so I think that's about all the questions we have. If you have any others, go ahead and add them to the chat. If not, I'm going to turn it back over to Katie.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Michelle. You guys, I love hearing Michelle's financial aid presentation. Every time I learn something that I had no idea, that's super, super helpful. And to know that there's specific information, financial aid related just for you. Michelle Gonzalez is a great resource, but all of our financial aid advisors are awesome as well. And as promised, we're wrapping up a little bit early. So that wraps up all of our live information for our transfer to the Nest. You'll see I just published the waiver code. It's 2020 capital T transfer exclamation point. You'll see that waiver code listed there. And we will also be sharing it on the slide after my face, but we just wanted to make sure that we thank you so much for participating. It was great to share this information with you. We love supporting our transfer students and we love having this event to kind of give you an overview, but we know that you have specific questions. So we're going to be sending out an email follow-up probably in the morning if we're not able to this evening with a recording of the event and also a survey. If you could fill out the survey at your convenience to let us know what you thought, let us know what you would have liked to hear more about, let us know what you found really helpful. That would just help us improve this event even more next time. Or if you do have any other questions, you're welcome to either respond back to any text that you got to confirm, or you're welcome to email us after you get that recording. You'll have our email addresses. So without further ado, we hope you have a great night. We cannot wait to see your application either come in the spring or come in the fall, and let us know if you have any questions. But besides that, go Eagles!